Jacob, on the forefront of your
I
mind?
was wondering if you could tell me where we have Traden Stokes, because he's one that is absolutely growing on me right now. PFF has him at 104. He's 5th out of 908 cornerbacks. Went to Arizona, 6'2", 200 pounds, 90.1 overall grade, had a 90.4 coverage grade. He just screams like he's a redshirt senior, so a little more experience. You guys know that's all right with me.
So I know it is. Sir. You said Stoops, is that right?
Stoops.
Yep.
Stukes.
Okay,
Yep. We have him at 105 on the big board.
Okay.
He was 5th in 2025, which was huge. 175 and 23. Looks like we didn't have a grade for him in 24. We just had under 200 snaps. But I'm not opposed to that. Again, with the size, Jacob 6'2", 200. That's not terrible right there.
Yeah, let me see too. It's Traden Stokes, right? I want to check his injury. See if we need to mark that red there for 24 real quick, Emilio. I'm curious to know why we didn't have a grade there for him. It's incomplete. Obviously, there's no ranking, and I'm going to leave those blank this year for that reason. But it's Traden Stokes, right?
I mean, he's not better than Red Murdoch, sitting there at 104, my boy. But
here we go.
I cannot believe when I heard that. I was driving up and I heard you guys passed on Red. I turned off the pod right then. I said I had to text you guys immediately saying I cannot believe you let him slip through your fingers.
Here we go. All right. So September 2024, he suffered a torn ACL during the Big 12 opener against UVA. This injury resulted in him missing the remainder of the 24 season and got a medical redshirt year. But here's the good news. You ready for the good news? The fact that he dominated in 25, the ACL is not a problem. Right. He is healthy. So should I put a red there on that box just so we know why we did? I think we should. It wouldn't hurt.
I think so.
Yes, I would. The other thing is he probably want to throw a versatile next to him because he played 380 slot snaps and 197 in the box, only 4 at corner this past year.
So more of a slot corner, really. Then should I put an S instead of a V?
That's true. Yeah. I mean, 4 snaps at corner is kind of tough.
Right. So that'll tell us, guys, he is a slot cornerback. If you see a -S or a -V, that means they're a versatile corner. If it's just cornerback, they're outside corner. And then you got versatile and then, of course, slot corner specialty. So, again, this is our big board. You guys can find this over in our Patreon group. If you want to support the show, just join our Patreon community, patreon.com/PackerFan Total Access. $3 get you access to everything in the site. And you also get access to this big board that's updating in real time as we're adding all the information in. So appreciate everybody over there. Sure. Anybody else, Jacob, on your mind, man?
So might be a long shot. What do you guys think about running back Katron Allen?
Katron Allen. And Emilio, if you need to bounce, you bounce, buddy. I know you had stuff.
Good. No, you're good.
Katron. How do you spell Katron?
Kaytron.
All right. Katron Allen out of Penn State. We've got him in the 96 spot. It's a solid back. I would hate to reach for a running back at 80, 84, but if he's there at 120, I'd be okay with running the card there in the 4th round. What do you think, Emilio?
Yeah, I'm not mad at to Katron there just because he was so consistent, right? 50 and 23, 70 and 24, 16 and 25. Really the only thing kind of bringing him down is the big board, though he is dropping on PFF from where we had him at 116. He's 135 now, but consistently in the 80s. Penn State, they can churn out some running backs. I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah.
And again, I was thinking if we could get him in like the 4th, like Emilio said, he's at 135 PFF big board right now.
And Jacob keeps bringing this up, Emilio. Just about every show he's bringing up. Are we overlooking running back? And there were several people in the YouTube comments yesterday that said, I agree with Jacob. We are overlooking running back. Running back's a sneaky need. What do you think about that? Because when I look at why we lost last year, to me, it was more about the offensive line than our running backs. Mm-hmm. I'm curious to know, do you agree, like in a perfect scenario, where would you like to see us take a running back in the draft? Or maybe do you go in the free agency? And listen, don't look now, but Adam Schefter tweeted out yesterday, it's unlikely the Seahawks will use their franchise tag on running back and Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker per league sources. The Seahawks have multiple free agents they want to retain and sign. They also will try to extend Jackson Smith and Jigba. There are enough Super Bowl tax costs that now make using a franchise tag this offseason unlikely. So Kenneth Walker will probably get the test to market. He was the best running back in the NFL this year. There's no doubt about it. Like, I feel comfortable saying that. With Josh Jacobs, everybody's going, what are you doing, Clayton? Listen, hear me out. With Josh Jacobs and his cap hit the way it surges, if you could cut him and free up enough money and you could go get Kenneth Walker and essentially swap out Kenneth Walker for Josh Jacobs, would that truly be an upgrade? Or is it more about how bad our offensive line played? And if you put Josh Jacobs behind Seattle's offensive line, would he have the same amount of success? So again, I just wanted to throw that out there. Like when we're talking about free agent running backs, when we're talking about draft running backs, there's a lot of stuff that's still kind of falling into place in free agency. We may look up and go, damn, you could go get a guy there too. I don't know. But what do you think about the running back position as a whole?
Yeah, I guess my thought would be I'd love to see, point of contact on Kenneth Walker versus Josh Jacobs, because we basically knew that he was getting hit in the backfield pretty much, every snap. So if Kenneth Walker has you saw he had the patience and time to sit behind the O-line, and then find the hole, which nothing wrong with that. I love the patience, but our O-line was not giving us that opportunity. And sneaky need at running back. Yeah, I do think that is. I wouldn't think that Goody would probably pull it until the 5th round, though. Anywhere 5 to 7 would be fair game for a running back. But I just love Josh, man. He's the heartbeat of that team. I don't think you're going to move away from him right yet. Maybe in a year or two, I think you could, but I don't think this offseason's it.
Yeah, going to the chat, Daryl says Kenneth Walker and Jaden Reed, former teammates at Michigan State. So that's interesting. Eric Sutherland says, hell yeah, go Spartans. So we got a Michigan State fan in here. Chris N says Walker struggles in the passing game. Jacob, that might be, that's something else that we a lot of times don't take into consideration when we're just looking at running backs as a whole, right? We know that Matt LaFleur loves those running backs that can pass protect, man. And obviously Chris Brooks, he's got that already in that. That's why I was kind of pushing back a little bit on the running back position. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Like, I think Matt would much rather have Chris Brooks back than to go get a more dynamic ball carrier, but someone who's going to struggle in pass protection. It kind of feels like, too, Jacob, we're going to press into the pass a little bit more this year. I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off on that feeling, but I just kind of get the vibe we might do it. And no, it doesn't have anything to do with Glover either, Emilio.
Come on now, a little 5 wide.
That Katron Allen was more of a kind of like Emilio said. I don't see us taking one until the 5th to the 7th. So I was thinking maybe if he fell, that'd be one that I would like Goody to take a slap on. But otherwise, a name that I keep hearing is the Kalen Black, halfback from Indiana. He's got him slotted at 235. So that's a little more realistic as to if we were to maybe take a running back in that range. And I saw some little blip yesterday where it's like everybody's sleeping on this guy, Kalen Black. He's fast. He can pass protect. He's really good at catching passes out of the backfield. Graded out pretty decent. He's 5'10", 211. That's exactly the type of range that Goody likes to draft his running backs in. 77 overall grade. Had a rushing grade of nearly 80.
Yeah. And when you look at it, he's way down our list. He's in the 293 spot. However, like you said, in 2025, he was 63rd at his position. Pretty solid grade there from PFF. The consensus big board had him at 425. The PFF big board had him at 207. Where do they have him now, Jacob?
235.
So he's actually dropped on the board since this, too. And now here's what's interesting. All-Star week at the Senior Bowl, he was one of those players that dominated. So that's going to skyrocket him up boards. I would be okay with him in the 7th round just because of that Senior Bowl bonus. Anybody who gets the Senior Bowl bonus, hey, I'm cool with taking a 7th round pick on, man, no doubt. And we got 3 of those. So maybe that is the spot that you go after a running back if for some reason Kalen Black were to drop all the way down.
Honestly, either of the Indiana running backs, Hemby either. Both of them had over 1,000 yards this year. Both of them can, zone and gap right around 70, 80s. I would be fine with either of those guys. But the fact that they turned out 2 2,000-yard rushers, 2 1,000-yard rushers was, impressive.
You said Hemby out of Indiana, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so Hemby, East-West Shrine Bowl participant. We've got him with a grade of 144.7. So, yeah, if you could get him 6th, 7th round, something like that would be absolutely awesome. And sometimes that's what happens with these running backs. You're going to see Jeremiah Love is probably going to go top 10. Jadarian Price will probably be late 1st, early 2nd, I would imagine. You've also got another running back there in Jonah Coleman. He'll probably go pretty early. Emmett Johnson. Those guys are going to be gone pretty quick. But like Jacob pointed out, man, if Katron Allen is there somewhere with an 89.1 grade we got on him, that would be That'd be a solid pick around.
You see the window though there on the board. You got anywhere from 4 obviously Love, and then you got a big jump 50 to 89, and then 107 is Nick Singleton, and then you're pretty much 140, 150 and on for the running back. So it looks like later talent maybe, or just deeper on the draft board.
There's going to be a log jam of running backs at some point. That's going to happen, right? And
or a run, where you go to reach because you're worried about who's already come off the board.
Yeah, and it is worth mentioning that so far early in the draft prospects, the Packers have met with Damon Claiborne, halfback out of Wake Forest. They met with him, I think, at the East-West Shrine Bowl, according to our source there in Easton Butler. So he is sitting there with a 162.5 grade, so that'd be a late round pick. Tankathon actually has him 130 is where they had him ranked, so he's significantly higher. PFF Big Board had him at 124. Consensus Big Board had him at 138, but the PFF grade this year brung him down. He was 338th at his position, but last year he was 180th. So that's one that the Packers are obviously interested in talking to. So maybe they got him on their radar late in the draft as well for running back. Interesting conversation for sure. Any other ones, Jacob? Any other players, positions, anything like that, man?
I've got 2 later tackles that I thought were interesting. Not sure if they would be able to kick inside. I'm not sure, Emilio. I'm pretty sure that so one would be J.C. Davis, Illinois. I believe we had PFF ranked him around 120 at the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got J.C. Davis, a 118.7 grade on him. Consensus Big Board had him 143. The PFF Big Board had him 113, but he was the 3rd highest graded lineman, tackles, I should say, in all of college football last year, according to this. So Tankathon had him at 151. Yeah, that'd be a solid pick, dude. 120, J.C. Davis out of Illinois. That would be great right there.
And then the other one, Trey Zune III.
Trey Zune III. How do you spell the last name?
Zuhn.
Let's see if we can find
it. Like John Kuhn, but with a Z. He had a pass blocking grade of 96.8 at A&M.
Yeah, we got him with a 127.2 grade. Another one right there in that range of the 120 spot. Amelia, what are you seeing with Dane Brugler there? Where does he have it?
Yeah, Dane had him 96, so made the top 100. Tank 176, not terrible. But he had a decent average coming into it, with the 109. He ends up at a 127 too. But you see that cluster anywhere from 100 to 150, where you could see a couple of those guys. And that same cluster J.C. Davis is in. So it would be one of those, like you're saying, Jacob, kind of, dive in there a little bit later on.
It's an interesting prospect too, because he was listed originally as an offensive tackle. And at some point, something provoked me to put him in at center. And I put a question mark. So this might be a guy that can play center potentially. Okay. I don't know if maybe going into Senior Bowl week, they tried him at center and said, hey, he's more of a center than he is a tackle. Maybe that's the case. You've seen that a little bit with Trey Parker and some of these other, or Brian Parker and some of these other guys, right? So something to keep an eye on. He was a captain too there at Texas A&M. Big program down there in the SEC. Played some high level talent just like the Big Ten does. So that's an interesting one.
Perfect Packer guy, right, Jacob? With a 59.7 run blocking grade.
I was just going to say the only other side of that coin. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, man. There you go. So there's just
only one other I think that Coach had in the chat we were looking up earlier. The linebacker from USC.
Yeah. So Gentry is interesting because go ahead and read his comment that and why Coach is interested in it.
Yeah, Coach said, did you guys see the 6'6" linebacker from USC, Gentry, I think his name was? I could have swore he said his wingspan is 7 foot.
Yeah, that matters too. I don't care what anybody says.
As a linebacker?
Yeah, that matters big time. So we've got a low grade on him, Coach, at a 265.3. All right. Consensus Big Board had him at 262. PFF Big Board had him at 259. He was a 295th graded linebacker in 25. Okay, so that's why he is where he is for us. But when you're talking about traits and size, that could be a guy that hands down he's going to get signed as an undrafted free agent. But somebody might take him late in the draft just because of that size, right? There's no doubt about that, especially if he runs well at the combine too. So that's crazy. 6'6", stackbacker.
But looking at that cluster, it doesn't look like a super deep linebacker draft, honestly.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of more high end talent at the backer position, but not a lot of extra players there to kind of choose from.
If we don't keep Quay Walker, if he tests free agency and he gets, 15 million per and Goody's like, can't do it, can't pay him. No, I'm not looking at Red Murdoch, Emilio. We're looking at Jacob Rodriguez. I'm telling you, if Jacob Rodriguez is there when you pick at 52, I would have no problem with them taking him. If he's there at 84, boy, oh boy, Jacob Rodriguez is a fun one. He was the highest graded linebacker in all of college football last year. And when I think of someone graded that high, I immediately think of Edgerrin Cooper. That was the thing that really skyrocketed him up our board was Edgerrin Cooper. PFF nailed that in college. They were like, this dude is a freaking beast. And obviously he's been that since he got to the league. And then, well, how did he perform again at the Senior Bowl? He got the 5-point bonus. This dude is checking all the boxes. Now, will he be there at 52? There's a good chance he won't be. And also, do we want to spend our 52nd pick on a stack backer? I'm okay with it. If you go get a couple of offensive linemen in free agency and maybe a cornerback or two as well, I'd be all right with it. But he is, as Chester says, he's a beast. Jacob, I know you'd be on board with that, wouldn't you?
100%. I'd love it.
Yeah. Now, you'll see here, Emilio has a guy highlighted, and that is Red Murdoch from Buffalo. I really like Red Murdoch. 97.5 is his overall grade for us. So worthy. If you picked him at 84, I would be okay with it. Now, he was the 4th highest graded linebacker in college football last year.
What was that? So, 4th highest graded? Okay, not bad. I'll take that.
Obviously, he's got the horns emoji here because Emilio is going to do that with his Buffalo players.
Yes, sir.
And then the other thing with Red Murdoch, he's got an ankle injury, right, Emilio? That he's
he did. Yeah. He did have
should
one.
Be good to go though.
Yep. Hopefully, he was saying that he should be good to go by the combine, but I just, I like that he was a dog. He was setting records at Buffalo, and you just got Sean Dolac that came out last year. You got
Sean Dolac. Yeah.
So it's just I don't know. I mean,
Emilio, you're gonna have to email PFF. They don't even have him on their list, brother.
Tell me
What's
about
going on
it.
there.
It'll be one of those they add late.
Call your senator. Report this.
All right. So I want to point this out real quick. All right, I'm gonna put this up and then we're wrapping up. I promise. I got to get going. We got some heat and air guys coming over to fix a unit that we paid $10,000 for last year, and it hasn't worked since we bought the damn thing. That's a story for a different day. But when you go to the PFF grades here, all right, and we sort by, the highest graded players. This is why Emilio keeps bringing it up. Sean Dolac, 88.5 PFF grade. Now, he didn't get to 100 snaps. Okay, we got to mention that. But, boy, when he had his opportunity, he was balling out. Same thing with Jeffrey Bassa, who had obviously minimal snaps, but 85.7 there as well. Kareem Reed, if that's how you say it too, out of Utah last year, he had a 78.4, but he's in the red as well. What you're seeing with these linebackers is they can't stay healthy. Look, Kobe King, 77.4, but he didn't get to 100 snaps. So might be something to kind of monitor. Now, obviously, Jahad Campbell was our highest graded linebacker last year, and boy, did we nail that. We knocked it out of the park. 76.2 was his PFF grade last year, so he crushed at the NFL level. Carson Swasinger, I think he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, right? We had him with a 48.9 was his grade. He ended up grading out 74.4 in PFF. So that's one that we nailed there as well. We were all over the stack backer position last year, and there was plenty to choose from. But the problem is a lot of them could not stay healthy. Man, it's a whole different ball game when you play on Sunday. No doubt about it. Anything else, boys? We good?
No. Oh, yeah, just Red Murdoch. He is the all-time NCAA record for career forced fumbles.
Who?
I'm just
Red
saying.
Murdoch. That's
Khalil Mack.
That's a great point. I go James Starks. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
man?
James Starks. Come on now.
Helped us get a Super Bowl here in Green Bay. So, all right, that's it, guys. Let's get out of here. Emilio, it's good to see you, buddy. Jacob, thanks for jumping on, man. Been fun talking ball with you the last couple of days. Tim's off doing way more important things than hanging out with us knuckleheads. I promise you that. So I'm sure he'll be back in the fold soon. We may do a show tonight. We'll see if any kind of news breaks as well. We're in that window where restructures could happen. We may see an announcement of, hey, this player restructured their contract. Keep an eye on Elton Jenkins, Aaron Banks, and Rashan Gary. If a restructure does not get done with those three guys, it's more likely than not, in my opinion, that we may just move on from them on the eve of the new calendar year. Okay. So the longer that goes, if we get to if we get to March 1st, right? If we get to the last week of February and those 3 guys have not been restructured yet, probably going to move on from them. I wouldn't surprise me one bit, because again, you're not going to have Aaron Banks play at $24.8 million. You're not going to have Elton Jenkins be against the cap at $24.8 million. You're not going to have Rashan Gary at $28 million. So if you're trying to understand what I'm saying here, those restructures need to happen to lower that cap number to keep them on the roster. If we don't do that, then it might be just Goody's going to move on, cut them outright, and just free up that money. Whether you go post-June with Aaron Banks to free up an extra, $18 million, or Elton Jenkins is just 1 year left, so you cut him, you free up $20 million. Rashan Gary, if you cut him outright, you free up $11 million. If you go post-June, you free up $19.5 million. So, again, Gary may go the Preston Smith route and take a big pay cut. They'll guarantee a little bit of money, lower that cap number down significantly, and keep him on the roster. They may just move on outright. I can understand both sides of that, to be honest with you. You can sell me on both scenarios too. So just keep your eyes and ears to the streets for that, ladies and gentlemen, and we will report it as soon as anything breaks loose in that regard. As always, the best way to support what we do here at PTA is just join the Patreon community, patreon.com/Packer Fan Total Access. Appreciate you, boys. This is a lot of fun. And we will be back later today as news breaks. My name's Clayton. That's Emilio. That's Jacob. This is PTA. Go Pack Go.
Here we go. We're out.
Bye, guys.